guys, this is Eliza and welcome back to a new video. So today I'll be filming my June TBR. So in June I'll be doing 2 readathons, the HouseCupAThon which goes for the entirety of the month, and then also the DetectAthon which goes from the 15th to the 28th. So I haven't quite chosen my TBR for it just yet. A couple of the books in my full TBR do fit in it, but there are others I'm going to have to read to fit those challenges. But I haven't quite decided on them yet because that one doesn't start till the middle of the month. So HouseCupAThon is a Harry Potter themed readathon, so all the challenges are Harry Potter related. I haven't picked books for all of the challenges. A couple of the challenges I just don't know what the fuck to pick. One of them is read a book with a memorable side character. How am I to know that a book has a memorable side character if I haven't read it yet? I just don't know what to pick for that. None of the books I've already started, like none of the series I've already started fit that, so you know. So for the books I have chosen, the first challenge is Tom Riddle's diary, which is to read a book by an author who uses a pen name or initials. I'll be reading The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, which is also J.K. Rowling, so uses a pen name. Also thought it was appropriate considering it's J.K. Rowling and this is a Harry Potter themed readathon. I know nothing about this book besides I'm pretty sure it's a murder mystery, so sounds up my alley. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm interested in it. We'll just see. So the next challenge is The Howler. For this one you need to read a book where a character faces the consequences of their actions, and for this one I'll be listening to the audiobook of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I won't explain why just because of spoilers, but I think both Voldemort and Snape have to face the consequences of their actions in this book, so yes, I'll be reading this one. I do have some other Harry Potter books on the TBR as well. It's just this one is the first in order of the challenges, which is why I'm talking about them out of order. The next challenge is The Burrow, read a cozy book. And for this one, I'll be reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, again on audiobook. For me, Harry Potter is definitely cozy books because I've read them that many times. I know the story off by heart and I absolutely love them. So thought this one would be appropriate, and it's just the next one in the order that I needed to put them on my TBR basically, so that way I read the series in order. So yeah, definitely a cozy book even if it is the biggest of the series. So the next challenge is Lockhart, read a book with a love interest that everyone loves. For me, I don't read romance, so I wasn't going to pick some romance book with some fancy ass love interest that everyone's obsessed with. So instead, I'm going with Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince because of Harry's love interest in this book, because let's be real, we all love her. The next challenge is Denoming the Garden. For this one, you have to read a book that you are planning on unhauling. So for this one, I'm going with The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. I was going to unhaul this because I've kind of lost interest in it, but it is super short, so it's only like just under 300 pages. So I thought I'd read it for this challenge. If I don't end up liking it, I'll just DNF it. It is what it is. But yes, it was one that I was planning on unhauling. Next we have The Whomping Willow, and for this one you need to read a book with a tree on the cover, and I'll be reading Forks by Nadine Brands. Bit hard to see, but there is a tree, actually there's like 2 trees up in the background there. So I'll be reading this one. I've had this one on my radar for so long now, I just haven't got around to reading it. I have read one of Nadine Brand's other books. I can't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head, but I have read another one of hers and I enjoyed it. So I don't know why it's taken me so long to get to this one, but it just has, and I'm pretty sure this has been on like 10 TBRs now and I still haven't read it. So yes, I need to get my shit together and read this, and also I sprayed the edges. Look at it. Yeah, custom sprayed edges, link down below. So yeah, anyways, I will be picking this one up. It sounds interesting. I'm keen to get to it, and like I said, I've enjoyed others of her books, so I really need to get to it and also just get it off my shelf. Next challenge is Follow the Spiders, and for this one you need to read a hyped book, and I think I'll definitely be choosing this one because I'm pretty sure this is pretty fucking hyped right now. Obviously this is Aurora Burning, the sequel to Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Everything by these authors are hyped, let's be real, but I've been meaning to pick this up. I bought it about a month ago and I've needed to pick it up since, but every time I end up finishing a book, I'm not here, so I don't have it with me to pick up because I've not been planning that very well. So I've always ended up picking up some other ebook randomly because that's what I have with me. So yes, I finally need to get to this one. I really enjoyed Aurora Rising, so I'm keen to get to this one, and this is definitely a hyped book. So the next challenge is Polyjuice Potion, and for this one you need to read a book that is in a non-traditional format or a format that you don't usually read. For me, I read audiobooks and graphic novels pretty consistently, so for me they're not out of the normal. However, I've taken this slightly differently and I'm reading a book in its non-traditional format. So I'll be reading the illustrated The Hobbit. I have already read this, but I want to do it a reread. Obviously, this was originally written as a normal novel, but this has been adapted into a revised, shortened, illustrated edition, which has awesome artwork. So I will be reading this one. So yeah, I've kind of slightly bent the challenge, but I think it still fits anyways. So the next challenge is Forks, and for this one you need to give a book a second chance. So I'll be reading Toil and Trouble, 15 Tales of Women and Witchcraft. This is by a heap of different authors. It is edited by Jessica Spotswood and Tess Sharp. I did start this one on audiobook a while back, but I just couldn't get into it. But that was 100% because of the narration, because this is a short story collection. I think I read up to the 3rd story, and because the narrators were so very similar and the voices were all the same, I just couldn't in my head differentiate, I can never say that word, you know what I'm talking about, between the different stories, because they were just kind of all blending together because they just all sounded the same. So that is why I'll be giving this one a second chance. It was definitely on my list of books that I DNF'd but will pick up again anyways. But I thought this will be perfect for this readathon, and little short stories I can read, you know, one every couple days. This is only about 400 pages altogether, so should be pretty easy. Next we have Petrified, and for this one you have to read a book you're afraid of reading. This one I'm not exactly afraid of reading, but I'm slightly worried that I won't enjoy it. So this is Odd One Out by Nick Stone. I read Dear Martin by Nick Stone and absolutely loved it. So straight away I went and bought this book, which is her other book. I believe this was her first book out, I think. But after purchasing it, I ended up being on Goodreads looking at it one day, and I saw some pretty negative reviews about it. So I'm a little bit skeptical going into this one now, but I did love Dear Martin. So I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy it, but I am a little bit worried that I will obviously have the same opinion as some of the other people that have read it. So the last challenge for the House Cup Readathon is required reading. And for this one, you have to read either Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets or just any Harry Potter book. I'm currently rereading them on audiobook anyway, so the next one I was up to is Goblet of Fire, and obviously I have the remaining 3 in the series also on my TBR from earlier. But yes, next one I'm reading is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. So yeah, I'll be listening to this one for that challenge. So next, moving on to the DetectAthon. This is a detective themed readathon. I will put the graphic up here that's got the challenges, but I will be picking a book for every single one of these challenges, but at the moment I have only picked 2 and also like an idea of what I'm going to read for another one. But I will just mention quickly all of the challenges. So first we have read a book with a purple cover, and for this one I'll be reading Toil and Trouble because it has a purple cover and I will be reading it anyways for the House Cup Readathon. I just basically saw what books would fit from House Cup Readathon into these challenges. So this is one of them. So next is read a book containing secrets. For this one, I'll probably read one of the Agatha Christie books because obviously it is a murder mystery, so there is secrets involved, but I'm not sure which one of them I'm up to. I think I'm up to around the 35th one or something along those lines. I can't remember. But yeah, tentatively, I will probably read one of the Hercule Poirot series. Next we have read a new to you author, and for this one I'll be reading The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Avon Lavender. I put 2 paperbacks and that is it for physical books on this TBR. All the rest of them will be the graphic novels or audiobooks. Next we have read a book with night in the title. I have not chosen a book for this one, but it will most likely be an audiobook. Then we have read a book that has a map. I will probably read one of the Harry Potter books for this one because all the Harry Potter books do have a map in the front cover of them. Obviously I will be reading the audiobook, so that particular format doesn't have a map, but Harry Potter still has a map in the cover. But I'll basically just read whichever one I'm up to at the time during that readathon and use it for the challenge. And the last challenge for DetectAthon is read a retelling. I haven't decided what I'm going to read for this one. I was debating reading one of the Christina Henry books because I've read The Girl in Red, which is a Red Riding Hood retelling, and also I'm currently reading Alice, which is a Alice in Wonderland retelling, and it is part of a trilogy, so I could read the next one, but it'll just depend on time, whether I have time within this time period to actually finish another physical book or ebook, but we'll just see what happens. If not, I'll probably just find something short and easy on SCRIBD as an audiobook. So that is all the books that I plan to read for June and the 2 readathons that I'm planning on participating in. Let me know what you thought of any of these books, especially Odd One Out if you have read it, whether you liked it. I don't want to know too many details because I'm already like worried enough that I'm not going to like it, but just say, hey, I liked it, or hey, it wasn't my favorite. You know. Anyways, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you have a happy reading month in June. I'm hoping that I can slowly get my reading up. I read 11 books in what month are we? May, after reading only 4 books in April and only 1 book in March. So I'm hoping that will only continue going up from here back to how I normally would have been reading. but fingers crossed. Anyways, that is it for now, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.